welcome to lesson number 1 of our video series. We are going to be starting at the very beginning. So if you already know how to fingerspell, if you already know the sign language alphabet, then you can actually skip some of this. It's not the only thing we're going to be doing today, but it's the first thing we're going to be doing today. So if you already know that, you can either watch as a review or fast forward a little bit. We're going to start off, with the alphabet. It's each letter has a certain hand shape associated with it, and you combine those letters to form words. We use fingerspelling for things like names, titles, topics, things that we borrow from English, fingerspelled English, to be the sign for the word. So I'm going to have you, now a couple of instructions before we get started. If you are right-handed, you're going to be using your right hand as your fingerspelling hand. That'll be your dominant hand. If you're left-handed, you're going to be using your left hand for these. What you want to avoid is switching back and forth. So choose your dominant hand and stick with that one. Okay, so I'm going to have you guys all get out, hold your hand up. When you fingerspell, you want to keep your letters. You don't want to go too far off, too far down. You don't want to be right in front of your face. You want them just kind of off to the side a bit, not up too high, just kind of up, I would say kind of about chin level, off to the side or by your shoulder. So letter A is formed like this. It's kind of like a fist, but your thumb is actually on the side of your fist. So A. B is all your fingers straight up, except for your thumb is bent in front of your palm. So B. C. C actually looks like a C, which is nice. So C. D. D, you're actually going to stick up your index finger, and the rest of the fingers form like a donut. So D. And your position of your arm is relaxed. It doesn't go like this. It doesn't have to go full like this. It's more of a relaxed position. So D, E. So a lot of people will tell you to do this, like a lot of like handouts and things that you'll see will show E like this, but I've noticed most people do something more like this. The important thing is that your fingers are fully closed. If they're open too much and you see the tips of the fingers, it looks like a C. So you want to pull them in, good, to make an E. So E, F. F is actually the opposite of D. D, just one finger sticks up. With F, you have the 3 fingers sticking up and then the donut right here. F. G, G shifts to the side. It's the hand shape looks like this, but your wrist shifts to the side like this, so we see the back of your wrist. You're going to be looking at your palm when you do this one. So G. And then H is 2 fingers off to the side. This is what it looks like on the inside. There, H. I is the pinky finger sticking up. I. J, you take the pinky finger and draw a J in the air. So J. K. So this one, you're going to be sticking up 2 fingers and touching your thumb to the middle finger. So K. L. Actually looks like an L, which is nice. L. M is made by putting 3 fingers over the thumb, so you can see the thumb sticking out right here. So M. And then N is 2 fingers over the thumb. And you can see that I have a short thumb, so you can't see a whole lot of my thumb sticking out, especially with M. So M, N, O. All the fingers form like a donut shape. O. P is made just the same hand shape as K, but you're going to point it down. P. And then Q is actually the same hand shape as G, but we're going to point this one down also. So P, Q. R is your index finger and your middle finger twisted. R. S is a fist with your thumb in front. So A was the thumb on the side, but S, your thumb is in front. S. T, you're 1 finger over the thumb and your thumb is sticking up right here. T. U is 2 fingers sticking up and it kind of does look like a U. And then V, you open them and this definitely looks like V. So U, V, W is 3 fingers sticking up, and which looks like a W. W, X. Your index finger bent, X. Y is the thumb and the pinky, Y. And then Z, you actually just use your index finger to draw Z in the air. Z. Yay, there we go. My best suggestions for fingerspelling is just to start doing it. Fingerspell everything you can. If you're listening to the radio, just spell as many words as you can. If you're stopped at a red light, rather than picking up your cell phone and texting, look around you, look at the street signs and just spell as much as you can. If you come to double letters, you can just slide them to the side, so like pool. Some people will do a pulsing motion like this, and then some people will slide. Either way is fine. I would suggest you, the tricky part is reading fingerspelling. That's where a lot of people struggle. I would really encourage you to look at it more phonetically, like try sounding things out, the words out as you see them. If you miss a letter, it's okay. Kind of look at fingerspelling as like a puzzle, and you're trying to get as many puzzle pieces as you can. So if you're missing some, that's okay, because you can still figure out the whole puzzle if there's a few pieces missing. If, though, your brain shuts down because you've missed one letter, then you're not going to have very many puzzle pieces to work with. So if you just think to yourself, it's okay if I miss some letters, I'm going to keep my mind open and receiving to get more puzzle pieces, then you can figure out what the word is that way usually. So don't let that freak you out. It's okay. Also, there's some letters that are very big and bold and easier to catch. So, for example, the Y, the L, the B, the Z, the bold letters, those are like the giveaways. Those are the ones that are easier to catch. The ones that are harder to catch are the fist ones, like the S, the A, the M, N, T. Those are the tricky ones. So you want to get as many giveaways as you can. If you, let's see, giveaways. Also, there's only 2 letters where your wrist drops forward, and that's P and Q. So if you see a wrist drop in a word, you know it's either a P or a Q. There's only 2 letters where your wrist shifts to the side, and that's G and H. So if you see that wrist shift to the side, you know it's a G or an H. There's only 2 letters that are drawn, which are J and Z, so those ones are pretty easy to catch. So those little giveaways, those little clues are really helpful. Also, I would really try to pay attention to catching the first letter of the word. If you miss the very first letter, it's going to be a little bit harder to fill in enough puzzle pieces. So you really want to try to get that first letter. So I'm going to be teaching you colors now, but before I show you the sign for the colors, I'm going to fingerspell them just to kind of get you into the practice of seeing letters combined together, and also I want you to watch for those giveaway letters. Okay, so you guys ready? I'm going to turn off my voice for the fingerspelling part. Let's see if you can catch some of these. Did anybody get that? Purple. So what were the giveaway letters of that one? The P, 2 P's. P, the L is a big one. R is decently noticeable. So if you got those little giveaway letters, even if all you got was the 2 P's and the L, and you know it's a color, so you got a topic, you know it's a color, you can put those pieces together and figure out what the word was. So the sign for purple, you make a P hand shape and you shake it to the side like that. Purple. Okay, ready for the next one? Did anybody get that? Blue. Blue. What were the giveaways on that one? B. You really want to get that first letter. B, L, U. Also notice the size of a word. If you know it's a color and you got the B, okay, and there's only a few letters, so you can figure out based on the length of the word too. That's another giveaway. So the sign for blue, you make a B and you shake the B. So like purple, you shake the P, blue, you shake the B. All right, next one. giveaways in that one actually. The Y, the double L's, the W at the end. There's a lot of giveaways on that one. I'm going to spell it for you again now that you know what it is. The sign for yellow, you make the Y hand shape and you shake it to the side like that. Yellow. All right, next one. Let's see. Okay. Did you get that? Green. Good, good, good. So G, you actually, so notice the giveaways would be the G, the wrist shifting to the side, the R. Now the rest of the letters are very small, fisted letters, so that's a little bit harder one to get. Let me show it to you again now that you know what it is. And the sign for green, you make the G hand shape and you shake it to the side like that. Green. All right, let's see. So those are the 4 colors where you make the first letter of the color and shake it to the side. Okay. All right, next one. You might have gotten that one just based on the length of the word. So red. The length of the word is a big giveaway. If you got the R and then the length of the word, that should be enough puzzle pieces to figure that one out. The sign for red, you use your index finger and you rub down your chin like that. Red. Usually people do like a double motion movement. Red. If I wanted to say it's really red, red. Or if I wanted to show something really bright yellow, yellow. So when you want to emphasize colors, you can actually sign them with more emphasis. So red versus red. All right, next one. Pink. So pink, you start with so there's a P and a K in there. So P, and then the K is up. So they're opposite. So the giveaways on that will mostly be the P and the K, and also the I is a good giveaway. So the sign for pink is just like red, but you do it with a P. Pink, pink. Usually a double motion, but I could go pink for like Pepto-Bismol, bright pink, pink. Okay, let's see. All right, I got another one for you. Black. So the giveaways would be B, L, CK. CK is a common letter combination. That's another way to practice. A good way to practice finger spelling is to practice those common letter combinations like ING, ED, LY. Practice those letter combinations. Okay, so black. The sign is like this. Think of like hair color, like bangs being like this. So think of bangs for black. Black. Okay, let's see. All right, here's another one. Brown. And the giveaways, the B, the W, those were good giveaways. If you, so brown is also a hair color. So if you keep that in mind, think of it being on your face also, like where hair is. So black being right here. Brown is with the B, and you go down the side of your cheek like that. Brown and black. Okay, let's see. Okay, I got one. That's actually a hard one. There's a lot of little letters in that one. But G is probably the biggest giveaway because it's a wrist shift to the side like that. Plus, if you got the O, that could narrow it down. So the sign for orange is on the chin. So there's 3 colors that are on the chin. There were red, pink, and orange. And this is actually the same as the fruit. Orange is also signed the same way as the color. So orange. Okay, let's see. Okay, I got 2 more. All right. Did you get that one? So what was the giveaway? The W, definitely. WH, there's a common letter combination right there. WH. The sign for white goes like this. You start with an open hand and you pull forward like that from your shirt. White. Think of like a white shirt. Okay, I got one more for you. That was gray. So notice the G, that was the giveaway. The Y at the end is a good giveaway. So the sign for gray, sorry, I have a hair on me. So the sign for gray, you use make 5 hand shapes on both hands and go like this. Kind of have the fingers brush past each other. Gray, gray. I tell people it kind of looks like you're taking white and you're taking black and you're blending them, mixing them together to make gray. So gray. Yay! All right, so there we've got our colors and a little bit of finger spelling practice. One thing I really like to do is tell people to play like I call it the candy bar game, or the topic, finger spelling topic game, because you pick a topic and then you practice, if you have a practice buddy, which always helps so much, but you can take turns finger spelling words within that topic to each other and reading them from each other. It really helps if you have a topic because it narrows down your guessing field. But you could do states, you can do countries, you can do cars, candy bars, food in the refrigerator, things you might find on a nature walk. Like you can pick any topic, and that's a really good way to practice finger spelling also. Okay, next I want to show you numbers 1 through 10. So we're going to start with number 1, and this is a fist, but you're going to stick up the index finger. 1, 2, 3, and then this really trips people up because people want to sign 3 like this, but this is actually 6 in sign language. So 3 is done with these 3 fingers right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9 is a progression, starting with the pinky finger, the smallest finger. Think of 6 being the smallest of the series. So 6, 7, next finger up, 8, next finger up, 9, next finger up. So it's 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 10, you put the thumb, think of like, yeah, 10, you got a 10, thumbs up, right? So 10. And you kind of twist it back and forth from the wrist. 10. So 1. Now I want to explain, when you are using 1 through 5, not in combination with other numbers, but by themselves, or if you're counting with them, like if you're saying, okay, you got 5 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4. How many of us have said that to our kids? If you're using them that way, you actually do them with your palm facing you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then come forward for 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There we go. All right. I have a few vocabulary words for you today as well. The first one is the sign for hello. So how you greet people. You make actually kind of like a B hand shape or a flat hand shape, and you start at your head and go like that. So it's kind of like a salute, but it's with the flat hand. Hello. You could even go, hey, 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 everybody. You can do a double movement, double hands. Hello. One of my favorite greetings, though, is the what's up sign. You actually put your middle fingers forward like this, right? And you touch just inside your shoulder blades and come up like that. What's up? It kind of looks like a gangster sign, but it's a very common greeting in ASL. So, what's up? The next one is a sign for name. This one you're going to use 2 fingers like this, and you're going to tap down on the bottom one. This one stays, and this one taps. Name. Next one is a sign for nice. That's a flat hand, brushing across the flat hand. Nice. Nice. Now, mean, the sign for mean is very similar, but you use a claw. Mean. Think of like a scratch or a scrape. Mean. And then there's another one that's really close, and it's the sign for rude, which is the middle finger. Well, that's appropriate, right? So you put your middle finger down and go across the palm. Rude. I like to show those together because they're very close. So nice is the soft hand, mean is the claw, and rude is the middle finger. And then the last vocabulary word for today is the sign for meet. So think of a person, draw little faces on your hands to remember if you need what direction to move them. So meet. You don't sign up. I see people do it like this sometimes, but that would be like going up to somebody and being like, hey, nice to meet you. When we meet people, we usually come face to face, so meet. If you, so if I wanted to say, let's do a couple sentences. Oh, actually, before we do sentences, I need to show you some pronouns. Pronouns are done, we're indexing with the index finger, so you, me, and then if I wanted to show plural, I would sweep it across, you. So you, singular, me, you, and then the last one is we or us, which is including myself, so I touch at my shoulder and go around. We or us, and you and me. And then possession is a flat hand. Yours, mine, yours, plural, possessive plural, yours, and then ours, including myself, I'm going to start at my shoulder and go around. So ours, yours, plural, yours, and mine. So using those, I'm going to put together I've got a couple sentences for you for practice. You guys ready? So, sorry, let me start again. And then the second sentence, did you get those? So first one was, hello, my name is Tara. Second one was, nice to meet you. I'm going to do them one more time. Now I want to make a little note also that there's different variations sometimes in how people sign things. I don't want you coming out of this thinking, well, Tara said it's not my way or the highway. Just kind of keep an open mind. Not everybody signs things exactly the same way. There's different accents. There's different word orders sometimes. Some people might say reverse the order of signs, and we'll go into that later. But just keep in mind it's not Tara's way or the highway. Just keep an open mind. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm so excited for you as you start this new journey, and we will see you next time.